What is up, YouTube? Welcome back. Today I want to take you through 3 top exercises for your back that you can do in absolutely any gym. Now, before we get stuck into today's video, the absolute essential must-have piece of equipment for all of your back training is lifting straps. Your back is always going to be much stronger than your grip. So unless you are a strongman or a powerlifter, you want to actually train your back musculature to failure. Now, the biggest limiting factor of you being able to do that will be your grip if you do not have good quality lifting straps. Shout out Hard Body, code Kuba if you want yours. Now, this is one of the best tools that you can use to improve your back training, but also increase the intensity of your back workouts, because it quite literally will not be possible for you to take your sets to or close to failure without these bad boys. And we all know now that it's the effort that counts, and it is the repetitions that are closest to failure that bring you the most bang for your buck, the biggest stimulus, and lead to the most growth. And growth is exactly what we are all about. So first, I want to cover posture, and I want to cover positions that you want to be taking with this video. All of your back exercises, as a reference point, your spine has to stay completely fixed. Core stays braced. If you do not know how to brace your core, get into a plank position. And funny enough, guys, planks is how I start all my sessions, because it forces me to get into a habit with my bracing, and it already reinforces what I need to do within the exercises. So 2 sets of 60-second hold, and you will understand what bracing feels like. Abdominal brace to maintain neutral spine. I do not want to see any spinal flexion and extension, so I do not want to see any of this across all of your back exercises. All of your back exercises, your spine has to stay neutral. The only thing that's going to be moving is this. Your arm is either moving vertically or horizontally through all of the exercises. Now, if you are doing this as you are trying to reach forward, you are actually creating much less range of motion for your back musculature. So key is getting your posture set first, with a strong stability point through bracing through your feet, or bracing your chest into the pad if you're available, or utilizing your non-working side hand as a bracing point, holding onto the machine. Now next, guys, pay attention to the hand position. This is a neutral grip. This is a semi-supinated grip. This is a supinated grip, and then on the other hand, this is a pronated grip. Now, the pronated grip will be more biased towards your upper back training or rear delt rows. Neutral grip and semi-supinated grip will be more biased towards your lat training, as it will force some external rotation for your shoulder, allowing the elbow to rotate in, which is always going to be more suitable for your lat training. These are the basics that I want all of you to know before we actually get stuck into the back training. And I will remind you of some of these things as I break down each exercise and how and why. Guys, this exercise will predominantly be focused more so on your lats. Next exercise now is going to be more focused towards your upper back. However, always remember, guys, no matter what, you will always train your entire back musculature regardless of your exercise and execution. The difference between your exercise and execution will slightly bias, so only target a certain division of your back. You must remember, it's impossible to completely isolate a division of your back. It all works, but some exercises might target / bias one area of your back more than the other. So first, I want to cover posture, and I want to cover positions that you want to be taking with this video. All of your back exercises, as a reference point, your spine has to stay completely fixed. Core stays braced. If you do not know how to brace your core, get into a plank position. And funny enough, guys, planks is how I start all my sessions, because it forces me to get into a habit with my bracing, and it already reinforces what I need to do within the exercises. So 2 sets of 60-second hold, and you will understand what bracing feels like. Abdominal brace to maintain neutral spine. I do not want to see any spinal flexion and extension, so I do not want to see any of this across all of your back exercises. All of your back exercises, your spine has to stay neutral. The only thing that's going to be moving is this. Your arm is either moving vertically or horizontally through all of the exercises. Now, if you are doing this as you are trying to reach forward, you are actually creating much less range of motion for your back musculature. So key is getting your posture set first with a strong stability point through bracing through your feet, or bracing your chest into the pad if you're unavailable, or utilizing your non-working side hand as a bracing point, holding onto the machine. Now next guys, pay attention to your hand position. This is a neutral grip. This is a semi-supinated grip. This is a supinated grip, and then on the other hand, this is a pronated grip. Now, the pronated grip will be more biased towards your upper back training or rear delt rows. Neutral grip and semi-supinated grip will be more biased towards your lat training, as it will force some external rotation for your shoulder, allowing the elbow to rotate in, which is always going to be more suitable for your lat training. These are the basics that I want all of you to know before we actually get stuck into the back training. And I will remind you of some of these things as I break down each exercise and how and why. Let's get it. Right, guys, exercise number 1. I have had the pleasure of dragging this bench over to a cable station. Now, any gym in the world by now will have adjustable cables or a cable station of some sort. Even if they do not have a cable station like this, they will have a pull down station that you can actually drag a bench along and utilize this setup for yourself. Now, the main reason why I much prefer to use this setup is because having a bench will not only provide you with more stability, but it will allow you to set up this exercise much easier when you are working unilaterally. If you was to try this exercise doing it on a regular pull down, because the line of pull is so vertical going above your head, it will be much harder for you to actually effectively train your lat in comparison to this variation. So, the main points of setting up this exercise. First, get yourself a D handle, attach it to the cable, use lifting straps. Now, there's a couple of points that I want you to consider here. First, as you set up and as you sit on the bench, I want you to plant your working side leg into the floor. You want to keep your weight onto the working side leg. The second point of contact is your non-working side arm. We are using it as a stability point and we are bracing into the bench. Keep your posture, chest stays lifted, and I want you to adjust your position slightly over to your working side. So if you're working with your right arm, shift your position over to the right hand side. No excessive leaning, simply just move over slightly. Keep your abdominal brace with a slight bit of pressure onto the working side oblique. From that position, I want you to start in the shortened range. Pull your elbow down and in, utilizing your non-working side arm. Place it back on the bench for stability. Really get a hard contraction, maintain that contraction. And as you are coming to a stretch, think about extending your elbow forward and up. Pause in the stretch and then drive your elbow down and into the pocket of the hip. Absolute key in this exercise is making sure that all the motion and the intent stays on the elbow. So we drive the elbow down and in, pause once the arm is parallel to the rib cage, then we reach forward and up into the stretch. Now, as a reference point, you want to make sure that you keep your hand in slight semi-supination. Now, what that will actually allow you to do is get your shoulder more externally rotated. So if we can get more semi-supination, look what happens here, guys. Straight away, the elbow rotates in. So we want to get into this position to actually favor the lat to do the work. From this position, we drive the elbow down and in, take a slight pause, and then reach forward and up. We don't want to do this. The second we pronate the hand, see what happens to the elbow? We turn it into more of a rear delt row. So as a reference point, as you are setting up, pull yourself down and in, slight rotation, and then we drive up into the stretch. Now, make sure that you are controlling the end ranges. Spend a little bit of time in the stretch, really focusing the elbow drive, extending the arm away from you. Then as you drive the elbow down and in, really focus on digging your elbow hard into the pocket of the hip. I see a lot of people grip the handles too hard and start to flex through the wrist. I don't want that. Wrap the handle correctly, keep some pressure into your hand, but as a reference point, this stays somewhat relaxed. We don't want any excessive pressure here or bend through the wrists. We want slight semi-supination, but once that's fixed, this stays relatively neutral. Do not think about your hand or your forearm. Think about driving through your elbow and maintain pressure and focus and intent on the hard elbow drive as opposed to driving through your hand. This is the cue that I want you to use for all of your back work. Whether you're trying to train your lats or upper back, key is always leading with your elbow as opposed to your hand. Now, do not think about your shoulder movement too much. Your shoulder has to move to a degree. As long as you are not actively allowing your shoulder to protract and elevate, that's something that we want to save more so for upper back work, which is next. Right guys, exercise number 2. This is the chest supported row. In my opinion, you cannot beat a good quality chest supported row. If you do not have access to this exercise, I will show you a couple of other variations that you can potentially do to mimic this. However, if you do have access to any chest supported row variation or machine, you should definitely utilize it. Now, key points for any row exercise, any pull down, is maintaining a strong brace. Your core is the foundation of all of your exercises. You have to keep a strong abdominal brace to make sure that your spine stays in a fixed position. Ultimately, we want all the range of motion to actually come from your upper back or lat musculature. If you do not have a fixed spine and your spine is flexing forward and back, you are only restricting your range of motion through your traps, upper back, and lats. So, as a reference point, guys, when we set this up, you want your chest glued into the pad. So as you get set up, strong brace, lift off, chest glued into the pad, feet pressure into the floor, create stability and force, and then from here, full protraction with no overextending, and then we drive the elbows through and back. Now, the cues that I want you to use for this, as you are coming to the stretch, actively think about pushing your hands away from your rib cage. Maintain your sternum, which is the little bone in the bottom of your chest. Maintain your sternum position lifted and focus on reaching forward and into the stretch, allowing your scapula to fully open, protracting your shoulders and allowing your shoulders to cover your pecs. Pause in that stretch. From that position, focus on the elbow drive again, driving your elbows back and through, aiming to get full retraction. Do not think about your hands. Focus only on driving your elbows through and back. Now, the cue that I love for all of the upper back work is think of your back like a double door. You want to have the ability to open it fully one way and then close it all the way on the other side. So as you are driving your elbows through and back, imagine like you're trying to trap your t-shirt with your whole back, wrapping your lats and back around your spine. Right guys, exercise 2 variation. If you do not have access to a machine, this is a superb alternative that you can use in every single gym. Every gym will have a bench and they will have dumbbells. This is a perfect alternative that you can use to replace a chest supported row machine. And now the principle, the execution cues and the setup remains the same. Keep your chest glued into the pad. All the range of motion comes from full scapular protraction and retraction. Focusing on reaching your hands forward and up, allowing for full stretch without overextending and overreaching. Pausing the stretch, then drive your elbows through and back. And to finish, guys, the most important portion of the exercise that most people often overlook and simply do not do or execute in the gym. Put your weights away, always. Right guys, last but not least, I want to finish on a row variation. The reason why I want to use this setup again is because this setup is going to give you not only variability, but also much more stability out of the setup. So my preference on this is always utilizing a bench, because if I have a bench, I can actually adjust my whole body position to get into more of a comfortable spot. I can utilize the bench with my foot for an extra bracing point, and then I can manipulate the position to get more stretch and more range of motion. So if I want more range, I can simply pull the bench further away from the cables. Whereas if you try to use a cable station with a fixed cable, it will not give you the same adjustability and the same setup as this, with the same stability and the ability to actually maneuver and adjust your position as freely. Let's get a set up. Lifting straps on first, pull yourself in. Again, make sure you're using this as a bracing point. Hips forward, spine neutral. Put your foot right into the edge of the bench. Lean into the working side slightly. Reach forward into the stretch. As you can see here, guys, my shoulder comes down and I'm leading with the elbow, reaching forward into stretch. My non-working leg is actually tucked in to the bench to create more stability again. From here, hard drive, elbow, back and through. Now, the cues on this row that are going to be a complete game changer, I want you to actually maintain the same position as you would on the pull down. So pull yourself in, rotate your hands in slight semi-supination, and then what I would like you to do is think about reaching forward and up. And again, the reaching forward part is always the key, because it will quite literally force you to reach forward and allow your lat to stretch around your rib cage. Your lats stretch around the rib cage as you reach forward. So it's super, super important that you focus on that in any pull down and row variation. From that position, once you reach full stretch, keeping your hands slightly semi-supinated, as you are driving your elbow through and back, focus on driving your elbow down into the pocket of the hip. I want you to imagine you are trying to wrap your lats around your spine as you are driving your elbow down and in. So focus driving your elbow down and into the pocket of the hip, rotating your elbow in, wrapping your lats around your spine. Now, obviously keeping some of that external rotation, so this is external rotation, will allow you to do that. As external rotation will force your elbow to actually internally rotate. So this is internal rotation, but look, internal rotation forces your elbow to actually come out. So all the geeks will always say external rotation, right? But in essence, you want external rotation to force your elbow to internally rotate. So we want this position for all the lat training, driving the elbow down and into the pocket of the hip. So I want to quickly show you what the difference is between full stretch and then overstretching. So generally, when we reach the full stretch, we want to maintain tension on our lats. So this is what full stretch looks like. Right, slight contraction for the shoulder, lats are still on, shoulders are slightly depressed. From this position, my lat is still engaged and it's ready to do the work going into concentric, right? There is no let off on the tension. Where people go wrong mostly with overstretching in rows and pull downs is they get into the stretch position and then this happens. Now here, guys, most of the pressure now is on my shoulder. So the big difference is maintaining the tension across your entire back, across any exercise that you do, with a full stretch here or here without overextending, allowing your shoulders to elevate into your shoulder and then have a degree of spinal flexion. Spine stays neutral, maintain tension across your entire back, stretch without overstretching. That is the key, guys. Now, if you do not have access to an adjustable cable station, you can alternatively do this exercise. If you do not have adjustable cables, you can do the same exercise on just a standard cable rowing station, which most of the gyms have. However, if you are so limited that you have none of these stations available, I will show you another exercise that you can use in any gym, which is the single arm dumbbell row. Now, the difference in the way I execute a single arm dumbbell row versus most people is huge, because what I want you to actually do is keep your weight on the same side leg as the arm you work with. What this will do is it will prevent counter rotation and it will force you to train your lat in more isolation. So, stability point number one, place your non-working side hand on the bench. Wrap up the dumbbell. What's up, guys? For coaching and consultations, please visit Team MK Coaching, link in bio, or drop me an email. All the links are in the description below. Lift your position up and keep your body weight on the same side leg as the arm you're working with. From this position, stand your foot stance, lean down into it, reach forward and up into the stretch, and then drive your elbow down and in. The cues on this, guys, remain the same. Keep your body weight on the same side leg you are working with. No torso rotation. All of these exercises, we want to eliminate any momentum. Torso stays fixed, core stays braced. We stay almost bent over with the torso parallel to the floor. So if you want to lift up a little bit, again, that's personal preference. I like to have almost 90-degree angle of my torso parallel to the floor, with a little bit of a lift from my chest. From that position, actively reach forward and up into the stretch, letting your lat fully stretch around the rib cage. And from that position, the only thing I want you to focus on is pulling your elbow through and down into the hip. Guys, that is my top 3 exercises you can do in every single gym. If you enjoy the content, subscribe to the channel. Much more content coming your way, guys. Take care. Peace out for now.